It's Wednesday afternoon, and you know what that means. Ringside Heat is on the air on Newstalk Saga 960, your favorite podcatcher. Hey, and if this gets up on YouTube on Wednesday afternoon as well, also on YouTube, but probably on Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lex Tan, host and producer of the show, and you can follow me at Lex Tan Media. You can follow the show at Ringside_Heat. Right now, it's a one-on-one singles match ring crew over here, and I'm joined by a man who can apparently put balloons in his StreamYard, and I don't know how that happens. I guess it's a Mac thing. You can follow him at Coco Collects, and you can follow his wrestling memorabilia collection. He is our wrestling memorabilia expert, as well as our TNA wrestling expert, Chico Newgood. You can follow him again, as I said, at Coco Collects. Chico, welcome to the show.
Hey man, it's been a few weeks. I feel like the last time I was on one of these things was somewhere near the end of June.
Probably, yeah. It has been a couple of weeks, and we've had actually a bunch of shows. Obviously, because wrestling is in such a boom time right now in the big three companies, and I would consider the big three WWE, AEW, and TNA wrestling. They're in such a boom time right now. The industry, on the whole, even in the indies, is in such a boom time, especially in the big cities like the Greater Toronto area, which includes your Oshawas and your Mississaugas and your Hamiltons and all points beyond as well. So there's just so much happening, man. And hey, you know what? I'm actually quite eager for you, Chico, and for the rest of Ringside Heat, the Ringside Heat fandom, to check out an upcoming episode that we have with one of the up-and-coming stars in the Ontario independent promotion. Her name is Kingsley, and we had such an amazing time just chatting wrestling and talking shop and just shooting the breeze over at the Saga 960 AM studios last weekend. And I want to thank everybody at Saga 960 for helping, for actually letting us use the space and doing a fun interview and podcast that we'll be airing bits and pieces of on the radio, as well as in its entirety on YouTube. So looking forward to sharing that with y'all. And Chico, I think you're going to enjoy this as well.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, there have been plenty of, spoiler alert, it's an Aussie talent, but there have been plenty of successful Australian-born talent in pro wrestling over the past decade, and it's kind of been remarkable how many of them have made it to WWE, AEW, TNA. So the big three companies that you're talking about, they're all over those. So many people. I mean, you got your Grayson Wallers, you got your Indy Hartwells, you got your how could I forget
the Inspiration as well.
Rhea Ripley, of course.
Of course, her. You can never forget about her.
Yeah,
and yeah, and it's very, very, and something that I also learned from Kingsley as well is that the Australian wrestling community is a very small and tight knit community as well. So it's like the fact that there are so many stars that are making their way into the forefront and the worldwide stage is a testament to how good the industry and the people teaching people in the industry are in Australia. And we are lucky to have a lot of them come here and entertain us.
Well, which is interesting. I mean, this is a little bit off the beaten path, but I guess there's a lot of people from Australia and sometimes the UK that kind of make their way to different parts of Canada too. This is again a little off topic, but I've visited the mountain areas in the Rockies. Two in particular I'm referring to are Whistler in BC and Banff in Alberta, and there are so many workers there that have different accents, and one of the more predominant ones among the workers in those two Canadian Rockies areas are Australian people who serve in different things, and then also being working in a position that means I take a lot of leadership positions in children's camps in the summer. I've been to campgrounds where a lot of the summer employees are Aussie as well. So I don't know what it is. I think they just like to do active things, a bunch of them, and then they get out there around the world to do those active things and sometimes get jobs in those industries. And one of which is professional wrestling. Again, there's just to bring it back around. There's so many successful ones, way more now than ever. You know, like whichever company it is, there's a successful Aussie in there somewhere. So we Canadians are being given a run for our money. You know, besides those filthy Americans.
Yeah, but you know what though? I mean, like, you know, and hey, you know what? This industry in this day and age is blessed by so many great talents from all around the world, and a lot of them,
Philippines
of course,
too, though.
Yep, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
a couple of people. Yeah.
Yep. TJP is one of the people that like I remember from years ago in the WWE and still making his way around the independent circles as well. So hey, you know what? It is a great industry, honestly. Amidst, I mean, every industry, entertainment wise and everything, has its own share of drama and their own share of crap, for lack of a better term. But, you know, it is still a great industry out there, and it's still a fun industry, and a lot of great, good people, a lot of people who have just, you know, that are just salt of the earth, awesome people that are making their way in this industry. So it's a great time for all of us right now. And also, speaking of a great time, a couple of weeks ago was a big weekend for the wrestling industry. AEW All in Texas, and then WWE had Saturday night's main event after All In, or actually while All in Texas was on the air, at least the last hour of it.
NXT's Great American Bash also in the earlier part of the day.
That's right, exactly. So the lacrosse programming over here, but then at the same time on the Sunday of that weekend, we didn't get to cover this because last week was all dedicated to AEW. WWE Evolution, the all women's pay-per-view, made its way. Now PLE made its way back onto the airwaves via Netflix, and people, you were telling me actually this that weekend is that actually might have been the show of the weekend, even though AEW had their big super card.
Yeah, no, it was. I will admit that I didn't get around to watching AEW All In. As I understand, the main card was about 6 hours, and it's been hard for me to find time to pack in all that review for the purposes of the show. So I'm very glad our good friend Colin Dodge was right on top of that with you. You know, of course, I heard about a couple of great moments from that pay-per-view, and, you know, very happy for the people that continue title reigns and for people who started new ones. And I'm glad to hear that we finally can see the AEW World Championship belt after about a year or so, or close to a year of it just being in a briefcase with the same side plates that it went in there with, apparently.
Yeah, so hey, it's nice to see some continuity with that. It's not like you know they open not like Adam Page opened up the briefcase and like, oh my god, a brand new belt. No,
and just to kind of brand new belt could have been, but you know that would have been kind of weird. I think that another thing that I was a little weirded out about in terms of results from All In is I kind of half expected Mercedes Moné to take another belt to you know, add to her collection, but then she's also like, Mercedes is kind of Teflon in the industry. Like, she can lose and not lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
so,
like,
you know, she's
had that time as in WWE and as one of the horsewomen. It's kind of it's kind of built into her now. So
yeah, and then she's persevered through maybe some rough spots in the minds of some fans who've paid attention to her AEW tenure. But at the same time, she's, from what I'm hearing, because again, I don't regularly watch AEW, she has reached the point where she's having really good matches, is in some really good stories. So kudos for Mercedes for sticking it out and finding something that works. You know, I'm sure we have not seen the last of her among the AEW storylines and the women's division over there. She has many more people that she could either put over or make look good by winning over them or something like that. So kudos to all the men and women on the ANW, my goodness, on the
Who are you, Danhausen?
AEW crew, and
Hate you.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I still wish well for them. I wish I had more time to kind of add that to my wrestling palette, but I got my hands full with WWE and TNA as it is, and NXT.
Exactly, and so that's the reason why I needed to. I wanted to actually get this segment going with WWE Evolution, because as I said earlier, that you mentioned that this probably could have been the show of the weekend, and it's not just your perspective on it, but it's also what other people in the industry have been saying online as well. And they had 7 matches to offer the WWE audience, and I believe it was about a 3-hour runtime for the entire show, right?
Roughly, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, a pretty solid 3 hours too.
Mm-hmm. And so it had Becky Lynch defeating Bayley and Lyra Valkyria in a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship with a great finish, actually, which we could get into a little bit later. Yep. JC Jane, who is now the TNA Knockouts World Champion, and as a result of TNA Slammiversary events from last Sunday, she with Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix defeated Jordan Grace, who had Blake Monroe by her side, in a singles match for the NXT Women's Championship. So we had the Becky Lynch match at 16 minutes and 30 seconds. We had the JC Jane match at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Clocking in at 10 minutes and 50 seconds, the Judgment Day of Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez defeating Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Sol Ruka and Zarya, and the Kabuki Warriors for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, retaining them. And Tiffany Stratton, in a match that took 8 minutes and 30 seconds, defeated Trish Stratus, our hometown girl, by pinfall, retaining the WWE Women's Championship. Fun little match that they had over there. Jade Cargill defeating Naomi by pinfall in a no-holds-barred match, with Bianca Belair as a special guest referee at a match that took 11 minutes and 10 seconds. Then Stephanie Vaquer won by last eliminating Lash Legend in a 20-woman Evolution Battle Royal for a World Championship title match at Clash in Paris, which will be at the end of August. That clocked in at 15 minutes and 30 seconds. And Naomi defeated Io Sky and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. This was Naomi's Money in the Bank cash-in, and that segment took 26 minutes and 20 seconds. Congratulations to Naomi finally becoming a world champion in WWE, and actually
again, yes,
finally again becoming a world championship. Yep, exactly. But now, now I think this is even more substantial in terms of in terms of her character and her actually being a credible champion now.
Yeah, now she's actually amazing. As opposed to before, when the Feel the Glow thing was kind of just, kind of fluff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And kudos, thank goodness to whoever set in motion the fact that, to turn Naomi into a heel, because I think that actually might be her natural inclination in this, in her character and in this business.
Okay, look, I mean, we've all seen in the past, we can't, maybe not all of us, but some of us have seen through things like Total Divas that she's got personality for days, as is the person she's married to, and Jimmy Uso. They've got personality, and, they just each needed chances to express those things. Now, Jimmy still making his way up, but Naomi has found a groove. And I think that it was a surprise that she cashed in, because Io and Rhea, up to that point until the cash in, were having what some have called the match of the year so far, at least in WWE circles, or maybe just in all pro wrestling. It was a phenomenal match, let me tell you. Did you get to watch it? I can't remember if you.
I did get to watch it, but not at length, because I remember I was on the air for 7 hours straight, and then before that 4 hours straight for the Carrasco show and Holy Chef. So right. I did 11 hours on the air on Saturday. I was just beat to
So I mean, back to the main event of Evolution, I would say that it was really well done by all people involved, including referee Jessica Carr, who deserves a mention for taking the front dropkick bump, I think, from Io Sky to be eliminated. Of course, Jessica Carr was trained at the Team 3D Academy, so she's taught really well by Bully Ray and his team over there. She's definitely got wrestling chops. You know, she's just kind of found her niche as a referee, of course. But yeah, she took the bump. Yeah, exactly. She took the bump like a champ, and it was perfect because it enabled Io and Rhea to fight amongst the crowd, you know, and make it credible still, you know, instead of in many other matches around the industry where the referee kind of just like it's referee's discretion, even though they can see right in front of them that they're breaking all the rules. So they made sense, and they really tore into each other and went to various parts of the arena. This was such an excellent punctuation on a very good night of women's pro wrestling in the WWE. So it was really good. I mean, Io, Rhea, basically, I forgot who said this, but they poured their very souls into that match. That's how good it was. And they really left everything out there. But then at the same time, the concept of Naomi cashing in out of nowhere and for the title that people did not think she would cash in on. And it's just, you know, some would say a random PLE, but I mean, it's Evolution, so pretty big. That mixed in with it did not diminish, to me as a viewer, did not diminish the quality of the match. It just kind of made it a really exciting way to cap off what had already been, like I said, potentially the match of the year at that point. So I'm kind of glad that coming out of Evolution that we're going to see the three of them in the ring again, this time in a full-on triple threat match, not one where, you know, Naomi takes advantage of the downed opponents, both super exhausted from a lengthy bout already where they're just both pummeled and just absolutely broken down. So again, a great cash-in, one of the all-time great cash-ins in my opinion. And it was just well done, well deserved for Naomi. And she's, speaking of Naomi and how significant this title reign is looking, just like you were inferring earlier, now she can even carry a bit of that kayfabe into interviews and balance it with, like, you know, she'll take the kudos, she'll take the compliments, but she'll, at the same time, she'll throw in that maniacal laugh. She'll also take the adulation of the fans and turn it around on them, you know, and tell them that, you know, where were you when this or that, right? So,
yes, exactly.
She is doing a brilliant job, you know, doing the right thing at the right time.
And here's the thing: it's not just Naomi who's taken a step up in her career, and Io and Rhea just absolutely having the match of their lives and everything. But you have the up and coming stars like Stephanie Vaquer, and the way that she's been able to take over the world in like a very small amount of time. So, and Colin's not here obviously, but then he didn't exactly like the whole idea about her, and the way that she handled with the AEW, with
her quick exit.
Yeah, with a quick exit and everything, right?
Yeah, and AAA too at the time, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And oddly enough, AAA is now under the TKO banner too. So, geez. Right. But either way, it's like now when you look back on it, hindsight being 2020, you can't really fault Stephanie Vaquer for doing what she did, because look what she is right now. And guess where it all started? It started right here in Toronto when she actually met up with WWE. With WWE and had those discussions and stuff like that. So
yeah, you know what, man? I mean, she wasn't really under contract in terms of a long-term one with Tony Khan. So, you know, she saw an opportunity. WWE showed interest. You know, you can thank Mercedes Moné for that too, by the way, because Stephanie Vaquer had a banger of a match with Mercedes. And it caught the attention of a lot of people. I guess somebody in WWE figured out that they would like to talk to her about recruiting. And so, yeah, no. So did you watch the women's battle royal or?
I did. It was, yeah. And again, I mean, we do have to go to break, but I would like to
What
say
a tease.
though, yes, we can talk about that in the break. But the thing is, I just have to say that, like, I've said this for the last couple of weeks on this show, is that a lot of the times, especially in this past year, a lot of the women's matches and a lot of the women's stories, actually, that even if they are intertwined, like let's say with like Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez and
Morgan,
and Liv Morgan with the Judgment Day and everything, as like even the ones that are intertwined with the men. I'm finding that there's a lot that I'm more interested in the stories that the women are telling and the matches the women are wrestling. Sometimes a little bit more than the men's matches these days, and it's not a knock on the men or anything like that, because they're also phenomenal. Everybody in this industry is phenomenal, but there is something about these women, especially on these cards.
I don't know about everybody, dude. But yeah, no, I mean,
but yeah, I mean, like, yes, with some exceptions, but like, there are, but there is a lot of great things that I'm actually gravitating towards watching and having the stories told to me in ways that in ways that I have never been. I guess motivated to in the past because of the way that the women were booked maybe back in the day. But it's a great line of succession in the way the growth has happened since Triple H was given charge of the NXT brand back in the early 2010s. Yeah, we'll get to a little bit more of that after the break on News Talk Saga 960 AM. We'll be back after these promotional considerations.
Under all the lights, with only everyone, he's looking for one single face.
And welcome back to Ringside Heat on News Talk Saga 960 AM. Lex Tan alongside Chico Newgate. You can follow me at Lex Tan Media. You can follow the show at Ringside_Heat. You can follow Chico at Coco Collect. We're talking about WWE Evolution, and we wanted to continue the discussion with the 20 Women Evolution Battle Royal. So Chico, why don't you start that one up?
Man, you know what? This was a very good battle royal, I gotta say. Even though some people would say maybe it was a little short on time, maybe 15 minutes for all that talent. But was it 15 minutes? You said
15 minutes and 30 seconds. So yeah, as far as battle royals go for PLEs, that seems a little bit short when you think about it that way. So. Yeah.
However, when I was watching it, it kind of felt like just the right amount of time. This is not a discredit to anybody, but just the stories they were telling were delivered within the 15 minutes and a half. And to be honest with you, like, there were plenty of stories being talked about there. I mean, I'm going to run down just quickly the list of talents that were there, okay? And you count how many legends there are versus current talent. That's another thing to think about.
Okay.
That way.
Yep. Sure.
Nikki Bella, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, Alba Fire, Natalia, Maxine Dupree, Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Lola Bice, Zelina Vega, Kalani Jordan, Tatum Paxley, Izzy Dame, B-Fab, Michin, Ivy Nile, Candice LeRae, Nia Jax, Stephanie Baker, and Julia. There was just one legend, really. It was, but not Lash Legend, but Nikki Bella was the only comeback person. I don't know what her contract status is. I'm going to guess like part-time, but a lot of things to do currently. I don't know, unless she's full-time.
Well, I haven't heard any particular speculations or any developments about that, but then I believe that Michael Cole did mention on the pay-per-view or the PLE that that she's back because she has something that she really actually wants to prove to herself, that she wasn't just the just the eye candy or whatever like that, who got by because she was involved with the Total Divas thing. So she actually wants to prove herself as a wrestler, basically.
Yeah. So I mean, just a couple of the things that I mentioned there in terms of the list of people, there were so many stories that they played into and that could like come out of that battle royal and be continued on WWE or NXT programming. You know, you got like Nikki and Chelsea kind of got into it. I think Nikki was originally going to be a part of this PLE going into a feud against Liv Morgan, right? And of course, unfortunately, Liv Morgan got injured. But then now, as a result of this battle royal, we have this very entertaining little storyline between Nikki and Chelsea. So that's like one of the things. That's just an example. But then, yeah, I think it was a really good balance of talent from the past in Nikki Bella, who's kind of like proving herself again in the present. You got a lot of main roster talent, but also a lot of NXT women who deserved to be there because that women's division has been on absolute fire for the last 2 years.
Yes,
at least.
For sure.
The showcase that they were able to do in that match and other things was very, very good. So anyway, as far as the Battle Royal goes, this was a pretty dang good one, I'd say. I mean, I don't know, like Forbes magazine gave it a letter grade of A. That's pretty good. So that's, you know, so and just to kind of wrap this up, at least on my end of things, what a unique way to end a battle royal as well. I mean, Stephanie Vaquer sort of, I guess, partially head scissored Lash Legend over the top, right? And then so they were both on the apron. I don't know if it was a head scissor takeover onto the apron over the top rope, but the two of them, of course, were struggling. And then Stephanie got to do another Devil's Kiss, but this time on the apron to Lash Legend, and that's what caused her to fall out of the ring, giving Stephanie Vaquer the victory and the #1 contendership for the which one? The women's world title. The women's
world championship. Yeah.
A world championship at Clash in Paris in a few months. So it was very good. The ending was good. Stories were told. That battle royal was a banger.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It ended, though, as you said, the ending of that match by eliminating Lash Legend, for Stephanie Vaquer to do the Devil's Kiss onto the apron, and I believe she did that to she did that to Io in her match, in their match on Monday night as well. Before the Secret Service came in and interfered and caused a no contest, but that is actually a very, I guess, realistic quote unquote, a finish that makes sense, a finish that makes very, very much sense, that from two powerhouses right now, and Stephanie Vaquer using that move, the most notorious move right now in the WWE women's division, onto the apron for added effect. So it's so again, it's one of those things that really makes sense, and I appreciate it that way.
Yeah, and I will say too, the person that Stephanie eliminated, Lash Legend, to win the battle royal, Lash had a pretty good showing too, and it was very, very favorable for her. She got to face off against Nia Jax quite a bit, and I've never been a huge Lash Legend fan, but now I feel like I'm kind of eager to see Lash versus Nia in the long run at some point. I think that would be a fun feud between two of the sort of more ominous presences in under the WWE umbrella. So I think it's finally going to be time where Lash Legend can effectively appear more on the main roster stuff, because I think she had begun to appear and then kind of went back to NXT while creative didn't really have much for her on the main or something. I don't remember. And also, I forgot to mention this, but as a part of this battle royal, as a red-blooded male, I was entertained by Nikki Bella and Lola Vice, both shaking their hips in the middle of the ring at the same time. So I mean, that didn't hurt.
No, not at all. Not at all, especially because, you can look what you can't touch. So
exactly. And I forgot one thing too. I know Michael Cole's likely not going to be listening to this episode anytime soon, but for 2 evolutions in a row, Michael Cole called Candice LeRae Candice Michelle many times. And Michael Cole noted that too, and Wade Barrett kind of chastised him for it, saying that, yep, he did that last Evolution too.
Which was 8 years ago.
Yep. Michael Cole still not understanding which Candice it is he's looking at.
Good job, bad news for calling him out on that.
Yep. Absolutely wrangled him for it. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. But here I do have a and as I said, like the Becky Lynch Bailey Lyra Valkyria match ended pretty fun with a pretty interesting take on the finish with Becky Lynch. I can't remember exactly right
It's like
now.
a flipping backslide.
That's it. Yes, that's exactly it. The way that she was able to pull that off and defeat her opponents that way. I mean, here's the thing. There is a lot of great things in this particular PLE that these women have put together, and the WWE has put together. So afterwards, there were two things that things that came to mind. The first one was Triple H and his comments and the way that he fielded the question about should we have WWE Evolution on a women's pay-per-view PLE every single year now. And how did he respond?
He responded in a way that made sense to me because he basically just answered a question with a question and said, or not just a question with a question, but he raised the good point that at this point in the game, pardon the word, we have women main eventing semi-regularly on the main roster and developmental shows. We've had women in featured stipulation matches. We've had women be like the viral talk of the entire company. We've had women even, I think, ascend to the highest heights possible in a WWE setting, which is main eventing WrestleMania at least 2 times.
Exactly. Yes.
So it's not that there's not still a struggle, because a lot of times of the year, it does seem kind of perhaps disproportionately skewed towards men's storylines. But at the same time, those are the storylines that got people's attention and got them to respond and everything. But we've also had that with women. Case in point, Naomi was a huge talking point. And back when Sasha Banks was in WWE, she and Bianca tore up WrestleMania like no other. Like the two of them had a great end to night one of WrestleMania. I believe it was 37, the first one back in front of a live audience. And so we already know that the women can do it. So in the last 7 years since the first Evolution, the women have actually made great strides. Again, sometimes just, I don't know, percentage wise, like the men kind of still have a lot of the screen time, a lot of the story time. And yes, maybe the women need a little bit more reps. But they've slowly but surely gotten those reps. And now
because they earn it. They earned it.
Yeah. And so Hunter was basically implying that, it may not necessarily be like an annual thing, but when it makes sense and the opportunity arises like it did this year, there would be a place for it, and they can celebrate women's wrestling in a certain way. I'm with him in sort of the implication that maybe it no longer needs to be an annual event per se, just because there's the goal, I think, was parity, equality. And that can be, of course, a word that a lot of people can interpret in different ways for different issues. But I think just women in WWE have, like you said, earned the clout that they now have. Like sometimes Rhea Ripley is the talk of the town, when a lot of the men's storylines are like kind of, just kind of humdrum.
And even when it is, men's storylines are the best thing ever. It's Rhea Ripley who cuts through all of that because she's just so darn good at what she's doing, and
very captivating.
Exactly, and her character is connecting on so many levels with everybody out there. I mean, one of my one of my radio classmates who is who is with Bell Media, and she is the midday announcer on 97.7 Hits FM, Ashley Dara. When I met her 10 years ago, she wasn't a wrestling fan. Now she's a wrestling fan because of Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, man. I mean, it circles back to the fact that you are going to be airing some clips of an Australian independent wrestler named Kingsley and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, just women are doing great things in WWE and in AEW. So yeah, haven't they main evented as women in AEW as well here and there?
Oh, they sure have. They certainly have.
Yeah. So.
Like Tony Storm, Tony Storm is the main event of AEW at the moment. I'd say, in my mind, personally.
It does feel like that. So I mean, I'm with Hunter in kind of questioning the idea that we need it every year. I can see the point of a lot of people kind of clamoring for it, but at the same time, it does feel like we have a lot of women's wrestling every month. And for good reason. They are at a point when they can do that. But hey, if it means we get a show as well executed as Evolution was this, when it aired a couple Sundays ago, I am down for it too.
Definitely. And you know what? When we come back from the break, I actually do have to, I do actually want to ask about and it doesn't have to be a long discussion about it, but, the run times of these of the shows of that weekend as well. Now that I've had a chance to step back a little bit and assess after 11 hours on the air on Saturday on that Saturday. My goodness, how the heck? I don't know how I'm surviving right now. Anyway. But I also want to try to get into the Slammiversary. If we don't get into the Slammiversary during the regular airtime of the radio show, then we'll talk a little bit about it in the overrun, which you'll be finding on Spotify and your favorite podcatcher, as well as on YouTube. And I apologize to anybody watching right now because the little blurb on the bottom left of the screen here about our new time slot. Yes, we're still on Wednesdays at 2 p.m., but we're also but it's actually Sundays at 7. Sorry, not 7 p.m., but 3 p.m. on the Saga 960, and that should say EDT at this time of the year instead of EST. But then we're not promoting Bianca Belair in any way, so I mean, you just go with the correct Eastern Daylight Time, all right? That exactly. So my apologies for not picking up on that earlier and not changing it back in March when I should have. Anyway, and if you're only listening on the radio, who cares? Exactly. News Talk Saga 960 AM back after these promotional considerations.
Under all the lights, with only everyone, he's looking for one single face.
And welcome back to Ringside Heat on News Talk Saga 960 AM. Lex Tan at Lex Tan Media, Chico Nougat at Coco Colette's. He is our TNA wrestling expert as well as our wrestling memorabilia expert. You can follow the show at Ringside_Heat. And we're on a bunch of different social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and Patreon. And before we went to break, the one question that I had in mind that I wanted to process here with you, I've had a couple of weeks, and you've had a couple of weeks as well, since that epic weekend of wrestling for both WWE and AEW, and I realized this, and yes, I know that Colin would say would say otherwise. I'll tell you about what he said to me afterwards as well, but it was exhausting. AEW All in Texas was exhausting. At the end of it all, yes, when we were watching it, the matches were very entertaining, and a lot of great action and all that, but it was 9 main card matches that were wrestled over the course of 6 hours.
That's after a pre-show
of 2 hours as well. So
and there were matches on that pre-show.
Yes, exactly. 3 matches on that pre-show. So the people in Texas were in that stadium for at least 9 hours of wrestling content. That's more than WrestleMania 35 gave us.
Holy moly.
That's more time butts in the seats. Yes, okay, fine. The show let out at 9 o'clock Eastern, which was 8 o'clock Texas time. So people were let go out of the stadium at a decent amount of time, a decent time, so they could go wherever the heck they needed to go and do whatever they needed to do. But my God, I was absolutely exhausted, which actually took away from my enjoyment of WWE Evolution, because I was so exhausted from doing 7 hours online on air, as well as 4 hours with the Carrasco shows earlier in the day, and I'm like thinking to myself, what is it? What is it with AEW who want, like, needing to go that long? To go that long? No, again, entertaining show, don't get me wrong. I ain't taking away anything from the wrestlers and what they did, but it was way too long for me, personally speaking. And then we've also and then you got WWE putting on a great women's show, good matches, 3 hours, just around 3 hours, maybe less than 3 hours. But then the only match that was over 20 minutes was the main event for the Women's World Championship, and everything else clocked in under 6. Whereas the longest matches after that was Becky Lynch at 16:30 and Stephanie Vaquer at 15:30. Everything else was under 12 minutes.
Yeah. See, this is why I said at the top of the broadcast that, dang, man, I've tried to find some time and motivation to catch up to All In, but I'm just going to have to rely on the review that you guys did, you and Colin, and at the same time, just like YouTube highlights or something. Because, like, I'm even going to extend it to say this, even in WWE, I think there's such a huge amount of programming already that I can't even get to the point where I can make those comments about AEW that you did, because I'm so tired already just watching WWE's Raw, SmackDown storylines, and then you got your NXT universe there. And now they've added Evolve under their umbrella too. I guess to be the developmental of the developmental at this point. Well, it's like a Russian nesting doll situation.
Yeah, and that's
a lot, man.
Yeah, exactly, and like, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, I enjoy WWE, and I love the fact that wrestling is this strong, stronger than it's ever been. But I can't keep up with all the WWE programming myself, and that's split up into chunks throughout the week. But then here comes AEW giving you 9 hours of wrestling, in a back in the Attitude Era. If we had if you had 9 hours of Attitude Era wrestling, the kids in us would be just like insanely happy. We're not kids anymore.
Mind you, because they were all like 5-7 minute matches, but
that's true.
I mean, that's a whole other discussion. But yeah, no, I can't even, like, again, like you're saying, it's not a discredit to any of the talent. They work their butts off. They're some of the world's best. That's why they're professional wrestlers. But I'm just going to say, man, all of this is squarely on Tony Khan. Like, come on, dude. The booking, holy moly. Like, take it easy. I know you love pro wrestling matches and really good matches and dream matches and just action. But just ease up on how much you load up a card, man. I mean, credit where credit's due. Nowadays, AEW is improving at the storyline aspect of it.
Yes.
They're a growing company, so growing pains will be part of them for quite a while still. But dang, man, like, 9 hours, 6 hours for the main card?
Yeah.
Jeez, double-digit number of matches, crazy.
And here's I mean, like, there's, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 6 matches on that card out of the 6 matches of the
9 main card matches
of the 9 main card matches that went over 20 minutes.
Man, that's a lot. That's a lot of wrestling. You know, there are fans for that kind of thing and are fiends for it and everything, but dang, that is a lot. I can't catch up to that much, man. Just give me a good story and a few moves here and there. You don't need to give me the flippity doodads and 450,000s, you know, like all the time. Like that stuff after a while, a lot of it also gets repetitive, man. Like just the sheer volume of what they do is crazy. And of course, I don't want to get roasted by all the tribalists and everything, but dang, just physically for me, I can't take it, man. It's a whole lot. I love pro wrestling, man. I've loved it since I was since I could remember, like 5 or 6 years old. And, you know, it's just a lot. You know what I mean? I will say that it does give something like a Busted Open show by David LaGreca and his crew. A lot of stuff to talk about. And like a lot of this amount of pro wrestling is exactly why now on SiriusXM there's the Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 is its own entire channel now. You know, so pro wrestling is a hugely great spot, but dang, that's a lot. I can't be expected to do any more than what WWE offers in their already loaded calendar.
Exactly, and it's and that's the thing. It makes a 45 to 48 to 50-minute wrestling radio show on Saga 960. It's like it's not enough time to talk about so many things that are happening in the major leagues right now, let alone what's happening, you know, on the local scale, which is one of the reasons why. I mean, like, you know, I'm very, very appreciative that Kingsley was able to take a good hour and a half with me, maybe 2 hours if you add all the shenanigans that and the laughs that we were that we had you know, before, like in between camera rolls. Like we spent that, we must have spent a good 2 hours in the studio in Saga 960.
Wow.
Just having fun, talking shop and talking wrestling, and with a few other surprises as well. So
Did you ask her about Vegemite?
I did not know.
Okay. That's so many more things to talk about then.
Oh, jeez.
No, like, you know, Australian food is what I'm saying. Anyway.
Oh yeah, no, but that's the thing as well, because and that's the thing. I'm also eager. Like after this, after her episode airs, I would, you know, it would. I also offered her as well too an invitation to be part of the ring crew as well. So hey, you know what? More the merrier and everything. And she's got a great mind for wrestling as well.
Oh man, you mean we actually have to prepare a little more because that's a real pro wrestler?
I know, exactly.
That'd be cool though, man. Cool to kind of shoot the breeze and have her part of the panel.
Yeah, definitely. But unfortunately for us over here on the radio, we have run out of time. But after we go off the air on Saga 960, the podcast will drop, and you'll be able to hear the rest of this conversation in its entirety as we go through TNA Slammiversary, which aired last Sunday, July the 20th, yes. And a couple of and a couple of things that I wanted to tease over here. The idea that both of the TNA World Championships, the Men's World Championship and the Knockouts World Championship, are in the hands of NXT superstars JC Jane for the Knockouts, or the women, and Trick Williams, who's been holding it since he beat Joe Hendry a couple of months ago, and he beat Joe Hendry again, and pinned him
part of a triple threat.
Yep, exactly. With Mike Santana, and you know, Rob Thomas comes to mind as well. But yeah, especially with TNA Bound for Glory coming up in the next few months as well, and the lead up to that. So that and yeah, so I mean, that is going to be a great. I think it's going to be a fun discussion with what's going to be happening in the next few months. But for now, we're going to ask you to switch over to the Spotify or wherever you get your favorite podcatcher to listen to the rest of our discussion about TNA Slammiversary 2025. But in the meantime, let's thank all of you for tuning in and listening on the radio. And thank you to Chico at Coco Collects for joining me here on this episode of Ringside Heat. We're 8 away from 200. Fancy that.
Wow, already?
Yeah, 2 months and it'll be our 200th episode on Saga 960. Amazing. And thank you so much to Saga 960 for giving us the time to be on the radio, on their station, and talk wrestling. My name is Lex Tan. You can follow me at Lex Tan Media. You can follow the show at Ringside_Heat. And we remember the things that you probably forgot. Welcome back to Ringside Heat for bonus content on Spotify and your favorite podcatcher, as well as on YouTube. I'm Lex Tan. You can follow me at Lex Tan Media. You can follow the show at Ringside_Heat, and you can tune in on Saga 960 on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, as well as on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, contrary to what people on YouTube are seeing on our overlay at the moment. Again, I'm joined here by our AEW, I'm sorry, not AEW, our TNA wrestling.
Colin, on behalf of Mr. Tan, I'm sorry. You are the AEW expert. I called it A&W on the main show. So, that goes to show you.
Oh man! Now you're making me hungry for some good grass-fed burgers from Ontario Farms. Anyway, his name is Chico Nugget at Coco Collects. He is our TNA wrestling expert as well as our wrestling memorabilia expert, and we are going to be talking about TNA Slammiversary. We did tease a little bit about it, about who's holding the championships right now as of today, but we are going to go through the card. I'll run through that card here for you, Chico. And so we had three pre-show matches. Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance, the Elegance brand, retain the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship by defeating Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, otherwise known as the Inspiration. That
was on the pre-show.
That was on the pre-show. It was. I would have to say though that that Cassie and Jessica are still very, very much iconic in the best way possible.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful ladies. Seem like such world-class people. I'm glad they're back in the pro wrestling active scene and doing their best at entertaining their fans, and they are indeed very entertaining. They're funny, man. Even just the body language, because I was watching some of the backstage stuff between them at Slammiversary, between the Elegance brand and the Inspiration, and it was just hilarious. Just Cassie and Jessie are just so good. Seem like such sweethearts, and again, Australian talent.
Exactly.
So there's just so much talent coming from Australia, and yeah, they're two of the ones that stand out in my mind for sure. I don't know if they'd ever make it back to WWE someday, because that is a very loaded women's roster. With multiple levels of talent, and I think they've even evolved since Iconics were in the company. So no slag on them though; they're very good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But then there's just so much more competition in WWE itself than when they compared to when they were in the company, as you were saying. And yes, I know that Cassie's husband, Sean Spears, who we've had on the station as well too, in our show before. By the way, you can also listen to our Sean Spears interview on Spotify as well. So
wait, are you gonna put one of those click on the box up here?
I wish I had.
Are you gonna link to it on YouTube?
I wish I had the time to do it, but I'll probably put the link to the Sean Spears interview on in the description of in the description below. We also have the hometown man defeating Eric Young with Judas Icarus and Travis Williams by his side. Match was 4 minutes and 10 seconds. The Rope Breakers, Real One, Zilla Fatu, and Josh Bishop defeating Steve Macklin, Jake Something, and Mance Warner.
Hold on. I got to stop you. You glossed right over the hometown man. You know what? He's hilarious. Okay. Yep. This is the very much Canadian Cody Deaner.
Yes. Oh, so, yes, of course, yes.
So I'm just, they turned the... we watched the match where he had to supposedly leave TNA.
Yep, we did, yeah.
Yeah, we watched that, and he lost it to the System, one of the System guys. And, it was kind of sad. At the same time, I'm like, there's no way this is the end. And then he starts doing the hometown man stuff, and it's cracking me up, man. He's the he'll wear the merch of like the city that they're at, and it's just so funny. And apparently he's such a good dude too. Like, again, from youth ministry circles, like in the workplace, I've met some really great people, and a couple of them are motivational speakers, and they've met Deaner. I forget his real life name, but he's a motivational speaker that's gone on tour as well. So I have a friend who's met him and even sent me like a picture, or maybe I don't know if it was a video too, but a picture of Cody Deaner sort of like saying hi to me or something. So yeah, I'm very happy for Cody Deaner's success. Even in this new version of himself, or unless it's not really him, wink wink. But
El Grande Americano again?
What? Yeah, Cody Deaner under a mask, hometown man. Spoiler alert. He's amusing people all over the North America, at least. So yeah, good on him, man.
And he's also again, Canadian guy, but he also spends a lot of time when he's not with TNA. He's also wrestling around the Oshawa Independents as well, particularly with Pro Wrestling Eclipse. And he is, as you were saying, he's a great guy to be around and a great guy to learn from. That's I only hear great things about Cody Deaner throughout the entire independent scene. So kudos to Cody, kudos to Deaner, the hometown man, or kudos to the hometown man and to Cody Deaner. So
there you go.
Rope Breakers, Real One, Zilla Fatu, and Josh Bishop defeat Steve Macklin, Jake Something, and Mance Warner with Steph DeLander by their side, and a 6-man tag match. That was a 3-minute match, so not much happened there. At least they got paid. And actually, this I've been actually watching a couple of ads on TV with Steve Macklin and his missus, the virtuosa Deanna Parazzo, and they actually are doing their best to help and support veterans who have been injured in the line of duty, and they do and they're doing some great work with that. So kudos to Mr. and Mrs. Steve Macklin and Deanna Parazzo.
Yeah, I will say too that it's intriguing that Real One Enzo made his way to Slammiversary, so that's kind of cool. Like, I didn't think I'd be seeing him on, even this level of coverage again, anytime soon. But yeah, now he just like his old school tag team partner, Big Bill in AEW, of course he's called. Big Cass in
the Redwood
NXT.
or something. Was he called the Redwood or something like that?
Big Bill the Redwood. I don't know what it is, but anyway, see, I haven't had time to watch AEW, man, so I can't even remember. But yeah, no, I know that both of those guys, they definitely are not SAWFT swaft in real life. They've gone through it and have had mental struggles, each of them, well documented online. And they've both gotten help and have come out on the other side, So kudos on them for persevering and continuing to succeed. I'm glad that, we got a little bit of Real One Enzo at Slammiversary, even if it was, you said that was in the pre-show?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And Zilla Fatu, the fact that he was on a show that's adjacent now to WWE, getting closer and closer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, like Roman Reigns did say something about how the did talk about the bloodline with Paul Heyman in the ring last Monday night in Raw, and it's just like he had this line about saying like the bloodline was not a creation was not a creation of Paul Heyman. The bloodline is blessing from God, and I'm just like, whoa, mention God, and I'm just like, and as a Christian, as a Catholic, it's kind of hard to it's kind of hard to dispute that, because like, gosh, the whole like how much of this Anoa'i Fatu blood family tree are making great careers and lives for their family in professional wrestling, and it's not just WWE, but it's everywhere.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, a lot of them are kind of ending up on WWE television now. I mean, even Hikuleo is now the taller Tonga, as I say. Yes. Tala Tonga. Yeah. So, I mean, even he has debuted now. So we're setting up for an ever-evolving bloodline. I mean, I think I can see that a bit of the writing on the wall here. You got Solo. Sorry to go off on a tangent here. You got Solo. You got Tala Tonga. You got Tonga Loa, the king of low blows, and Solo Sikoa, of course, and they're a faction that Solo says, now my MFTs are complete. Mm-hmm. He's leaving out Tama Tonga, in case you didn't figure that out. So now it's kind of setting up the pieces for when Tama Tonga comes back. He's going to be a good guy, I think. And so we're going to have more faction wars within the families. So, I mean, you got Jacob and Jimmy and, eventually Tama Tonga, I feel like. And then they're going to battle against Solo and his MFTs. So, and then eventually Zilla's got to join that equation. Just maybe not quite yet, but good to see him, just to bring it back to Slammiversary Day. It's good to see him get a little bit more exposure in that way. Even if it was a pre-show. It's cool to see Zilla there,
Yep. And then we get into the main card where we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches. That
wasn't 6 hours though.
No, it was not. And thank goodness gracious it wasn't. But it started off with Mustafa Ali defeating Cedric Alexander in 14 minutes and 30 seconds. Matt Cardona and the System of Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and JDC defeating Dark State, Dion Lennox, Osiris Griffin, Saquon Sugars, and Cutler James in an 8-man tag match for 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Australian wrestler Indy Hartwell defeating Tessa Blanchard with Victoria Crawford by her side in 15 minutes and 30 seconds. And I do want to actually kind of discuss that a little bit more in detail. And I know it might be a little bit controversial to discuss probably what what I want to say. But hey, you know what? I'm just going to put it out there, because in podcasts, we trust each other in podcasts and everything. So, that's something I learned from from watching political TV. When you're in a podcast, when you're doing a podcast, you have to place your trust in the other, that that you'll be safe to air out your views, and also and be safe to air that out to the audience as well. Back into that in a little bit later, but JC Jane defeating Masha Slamovich in a winner-take-all match for the TNA Knockouts World Championship, and had Masha won that one, then she would have been the NXT Women's Championship, but now JC Jane is a double champion in NXT and in TNA. Leon Slater defeating Moose to become the new X Division champion in a match that was 15 minutes
youngest ever.
Exactly. And good on Moose. Honestly, good on Moose for making for doing what he did to put Leon Slater over and everything. And Leon Slater is no slouch himself. He put himself over, but hey, Moose did his part, and it was great. The Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt, defeat the Nemeths, the Rascals and First Class in a 4-way tag team ladder match to become TNA World Tag Team Champions with Jeff actually climbing a rope ladder in order to get the because everybody had wrecked everybody else had wrecked all the other step ladders at ringside, so they actually had to get a rope ladder lowered from the rafters in order to reach the championships. And then in the main event of the night, Trick Williams defeating Joe Hendry and Mike Santana and by pinfall to retain the TNA World Championship in a match that took 13 minutes and 15 seconds. So that was the main card, Chico. Before I get into what I'd like to go talk about, is there anything that you want to start talking about first?
Well, I think you're going to talk about the TNA titles being NXT champions at the moment.
Yes.
So you will get into that. And you're going to talk about Tessa in a second.
I know. Yep.
That's going to be great. I will say that well wishes to Zachary Wentz of the Rascals. He had to bow out of that tag team match that you mentioned because he got injured, unfortunately, and he had I forget the name of the wrestler that filled in, but he had to get somebody to substitute for him. So just well wishes out to Zach Wentz on recovering from the injury that he's got. Unfortunate for him. Let's see what else. I'm also. This is an aside to all of the stuff that you said. I know I have had a lot of those tonight, but I am kind of oddly proud that Gabby Laspisa is now on the broadcast team for the TNA wrestling company, because she used to be a producer on Busted Open. So,
right. Yes.
Fans of that show would hear her from time to time. And she even had her own segment after a while called Gift of Gab or something like that. Unless that was the podcast that she started, where she it was the precursor for what we have now on that show, where Natalia has a whole hour dedicated to not just her, but to women's wrestling and kind of like promoting women's wrestling. And Mickey James had sort of a version of that too when she was able to regularly host on Busted Open. But yeah, no, Gabby for a time was that person, but now she's, she went from a non-wrestling fan being a producer of a wrestling radio show to now being involved as a correspondent and from time to time having to do ring announcing too, I think, on the TNA brand. So kudos for her.
Nice.
She's really gotten into wrestling and is making her way up in there. So in terms of the rest of the card, though, I mean, a lot of pretty dang good matches. I mean, we got like Cedric and Mustafa Ali kind of reliving some of those 205 Live glory days for some and given a lot of time to do it too. Nearly 15 minutes. So that match had a really good chance to breathe. Yeah. So I mean, plenty of things to get excited over in terms of Slammiversary. I kind of almost forget that that's not their biggest show, and it's supposed to be Bound for Glory, which is coming up. I think that's one of the next ones, or the next one, or something. Couple of months or something like that. But I mean, it's great. This NXT TNA partnership, or sorry, WWE TNA partnership, which just happens to mostly be with NXT and TNA. It's such an interesting time, like the old man who used to run the WWE ship would not have allowed for this much intercompany interaction, but I think it's leading to some pretty cool things for both sides. Like when TNA had a partnership with AEW, I don't think that quite worked out well for TNA, like on the TNA side of things.
No, it didn't. I don't think so. It was Tony Khan, I would say, did not give TNA some time to breathe and become their own. But at the same time, it was also during the pandemic, and Tony Khan also, I guess, by including TNA into AEW programming during the lockdowns and the pandemic, I think that also kind of helped out TNA as a brand as well to keep their company going.
Now, again with Slammiversary, a lot of good things that happened. I will say Leon Slater, watch out for that kid, man. He's now the youngest ever X Division champion in TNA history. And again, like you said, Moose did his job, put the kid over. But of course, Leon Slater did a lot of that work himself. He's getting good on the stick as well. Like, I see nothing but good things in the future of Leon Slater, and I cannot wait till he gets a chance to showcase all of that in a place where I would even say he's gonna be ready for WWE. I think he's getting that good on the non-wrestling side of things too. So I think he's gonna make his way up to the big show at some point. No, not to Paul White, but just to the big company of WWE. I would hope that he would do that, because he's got the thrilling action, but he's such a student of the game and takes feedback so very well for a young man that's making his way up. Now, from one young man to a veteran and maybe probably the original institution of the X Division, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that AJ Styles came home to TNA.
That's right, he did.
Night.
Yes, and that was an amazing scene.
Part of that was to congratulate the young Leon Slater on becoming the youngest X Division champ of all time. Now, one would think that as part of AJ's last year, presumably, because I think he did say that his recently renewed WWE contract is his last one. Part of it showing up at TNA, and he didn't have a match at Slammiversary. One would think that they're going to set him up for a match at Bound for Glory.
And that would be interesting to see if that would set up for AJ Styles to take actually the X Division Championship. And I believe, as far as if I'm not mistaken about the history, he was the first X Division champion all the way back in 2002.
Yeah, number one with a bullet, man. He was and he was part of the Bullet Club as well at some point. So AJ put that X Division on the map, along with his fellow competitors, like Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, slouches in their own right. I'll throw in a random one too, Elix Skipper, primetime Elix Skipper, one of the people that he skinned the cat on top of the 6-sided cage and kind of.
I remember that
scissor. Yeah, that was one of the huge promotion shots for TNA for years. Anyway, so a lot of things for the X Division through the years, but AJ Styles was a foundation of that part of TNA, which is, I think, the X Division, I feel like, is what gave TNA a lot of its initial boost of fame, I think, because it was unique and they were doing some, things that had never been done before in pro wrestling, at least on the major North American scene.
And so it's not like AJ Styles, AJ Styles, whatever he's doing and however he is keeping himself up, he still looks like he could contend for that X Division Championship against Leon Slater. And now, do I think that he's going to win it? No, I think I personally think that he is also going to be one of those guys who are the Chris Jericho role of he jobs so that Leon Slater will ascend to greater heights.
That's right. Yeah, that's a pretty good guess. I think I'm with it. I think that AJ versus Leon Slater would be, pardon the word, but really it will be phenomenal. I think the two have really good styles that would mesh. Styles. Yes. Okay, I walked into that too. So yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be good if that's what they're going for. AJ Styles versus Leon Slater. I am down.
However, I would have to also kind of have this idea in mind, because now we're starting to start the fantasy book for AJ Styles and Leon Slater. At first, watching the show, knowing that JC Jane and Trick Williams, both NXT superstars, are the holders of the TNA Knockouts Championship and the TNA World Championship, if it's just in a bubble like this, it kind of felt like, if I were to take it just as a bubble, or in a bubble rather, it kind of felt like the way that Tony Khan made AEW look way too dominant against TNA or Impact Wrestling at the time. However, I also do understand that this also could be a good storyline development headed into October's Bound for Glory.
Yep, I was going to disagree with that comparison because I think we have yet to see the payoff.
Mm-hmm.
I think Shawn Michaels is way better of a wrestling mind than a Tony Khan. I'm sorry to say that with a scoff, but I think we're in better hands this time around with this collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
I personally would have gone with the momentum and crowned Mike Santana TNA World Champion.
Yeah,
he's got the people.
Yes, exactly, and in his hometown of Long Island as well. So,
yeah, I think that would have been the best use of that main event. However, maybe Mike Santana's moment is at Bound for Glory.
Mm-hmm.
Or Joe Hendry's. I'm good with either.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I feel like, I think Joe Hendry doesn't need the title anymore. I think that he's proven himself as an attraction. And I think if he rides this out and, presumably his contract ends at some point, I think he'd make a killing in WWE.
I think so too. I mean, I like he debuts in NXT. He makes his debut at WrestleMania against Randy Orton.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. And the entire crowd, the NXT, doesn't matter if it's NXT, doesn't matter if it's WrestleMania, the entire crowd is just going ape for this guy.
That's right, ape poop. But yes. Joe Hendry's got it, man. Mm-hmm. And so I think he doesn't need to win that TNA World title anymore. I think when he had it, he did a bang-up job of promoting the company all over the place. All over the place.
I just
took the
wish
title
it was
into WWE stuff and even the Ariel Helwani show and everything.
I just wish it was a little bit longer. Maybe a couple of months longer.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can.
But at the same time, that's a good thing. I think that, but at the same time, that's a good thing because it's just like they say when it comes to every performer, always leave them wanting more.
Yes, and I was going to exactly say that. So, sorry, I was going to say exactly that. I can't speak English. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I agree, but now we're left wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
And so where that is, I don't know. I feel like Mike Santana has hit enough momentum where, crown that guy, jump on the momentum like that, and you have two people that have been made through the situation. And, you get Trick Williams getting more reps and getting more credibility too. So, I think we're still on the right track. So I don't think it's time to hit the panic button and compare it to how, yes, you're absolutely right. AEW is made to look way too dominant over TNA at the time. But we got another Christian Cage TNA World Title reign or Impact Championship or whatever it was. So that was kind of nice. But other than that, you're right. I think, that was not quite congruent booking. But now I think we're getting there. I don't know what it does so much for the knockouts part of it because I don't know. I mean, I guess Masha gets it back at Bound for Glory. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. It's just like it's don't get me wrong. The women are doing a bang up job over there too, but at the same time, it's like I honestly think that I mean, yes, there could be some sort of story of where the TNA knockouts find a way to band together in order to make sure in order to find ways to get the title off of JC Jane and bring it back, and they're not going to be successful until Bound for Glory when whoever it is going to step up actually does.
All you need is either one Jordan Grace to help her old friend Masha, or you need two people to help Masha because Fatal Influence has three people.
Yes.
So I feel like that's where we're going to head. I think they're going to even the odds at some point. And then I think either Masha or whoever the contender will be at that time for the TNA Knockouts Championship they're going to win that title back. It's got to be Bound for Glory for the men's and women's TNA championships.
Yes, exactly, and they do have 3 months to build up to that because it is going to be on in October. But in the meantime, for TNA Wrestling, they've got Emergence coming up on August the 15th, emanating from Baltimore, Maryland, and they also have got TNA Wrestling Victory Road on September the 26th here in Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta, and and Kingsley told me that she's hoping to get to that show as well. So,
very cool. That'd be great to see her there.
Yeah, definitely.
So she's located in Canada. This Kingsley person, like she's based in Canada now for her wrestling work.
Yep, she's based here in Toronto.
Very nice. Okay.
Before we get into I guess more of the controversial topic I want to talk about, I do want to give a little bit of a chuckle to another wrestler that I have also come across in my travels, and yes, I don't have her up on my on my Instagram or anything like that because I just haven't been able to put I guess organize myself that much for this, but there was I guess a production botch during the live show involving the Elegance brand and the Iconics during the main show, and I believe it was they aired a promo for. They aired a promo for a certain match. I can't remember which match it was that they aired that they aired a promo for, and then I think they cut too early over to the Ash
backstage promo.
Heather. Sorry.
Yeah, the backstage promo with the Elegance brand.
Yeah, exactly, and then you can actually hear the director on on location going, all right, we're coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and also personal concierge as well too, also sucking himself up and get ready, everybody out of character, and all of a sudden you hear 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Yeah,
and cue.
It was a very interesting peel back of the curtain that they didn't quite mean to.
Yes.
So I mean, it was kind of funny. It was funny. It's fine. I got over it in like 2 seconds, but after I saw it, but it was just. It's you would say it's a production botch, and yes, it was definitely. But it's a no harm, no foul thing. It's not like The Rock coming on an interview and saying that everything's kayfabe, so don't bother liking wrestling, you marks. Stupid Dwayne.
Oh,
okay.
Dwayne.
Before you go into your main event topic for the rest of this thing, I just also want to say I forgot to mention the new World Tag Team Champions for TNA, the Hardys.
Yes,
were then congratulated by one Bully Ray, who came down the aisle with a mic.
That's right. Yep.
I will just go on to say it because we missed it. Bully Ray is laying down a challenge for a bit of a nostalgia match at October's Bound for Glory to see the Hardys put up those TNA World Tag Team Championships against Bully Ray and a returning from retirement brother Devon.
That is amazing.
It'll be Team 3D challenging the Hardys at Bound for Glory. And as a fan who grew up and had ECW and the Attitude Era as part of his upbringing in the pro wrestling appreciation, I can't wait to have the Dudleys and the Hardys together in the ring again, fighting each other. One last time.
Yes, exactly, and here's the thing too: is that I for us going back to last year's WrestleMania events, when we went to the Busted Open WrestleMania party over at the ECW Arena. Wow, I mean, geez,
yeah, just saying that.
I still can't believe that we were actually at the ECW Arena at a WrestleMania party with all the things that happened and we saw and the people that we met and the people that we interacted with and everything. It was great. It was such a fun way to start WrestleMania Saturday. But either way, Bully was there with the Busted Open crew, got into the middle of the ring, and Devon was there as well. Was there as well, and it was heartwarming because because I think that was the first time in a long time that Bully and Devon were actually together in the ring, and not just the ECW arena ring, but then just together in a wrestling featured in a wrestling capacity for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't even know if Devon was even coming back.
Well, no, he had fully retired. He said he was too injured and everything, but now he's got like a YouTube podcast thing going, by the way, that's kind of gaining some traction. Apparently, like he's trained up enough where I think he's got one more feature match in him, I feel like. And maybe more, who knows? But I think that it's safe to say we're going to see Team 3D challenging the Hardys at Bound for Glory. I think that's going to happen. You don't put that out there without it actually like being in the works already.
Definitely, yeah, exactly, and it's and it would be nice. I mean, like, you know, I mean, you know, you like, yes, of course, Jake the Snake, and Jake the Snake and Scott Hall never, you know, didn't get to wrestle again, but the way that DDP really helped them on their journey back to health, and of course, God rest Scott Hall's soul, may his memory be eternal and be a blessing, but. To see the work that they were able to do with DDP to get them back to health, to get them back into a state of good health. And I mean, like, you know, anything's possible. So, you know, and I don't know who Devon's working with, but hey, if he's healed enough and trained enough to get back in the ring for one more nostalgia run with Bubba and with the Hardys, the guys who made who without each other, they made each other, those guys.
Yeah.
Along with
Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that in October. That really kind of took me by surprise that Bully showed up after that. And well, I know that basically, I think Bully had been kind of angling for like Bubba and Devon on the WWE stage to kind of like bring in the Hardy Boys because there's a partnership with TNA and everything. But I guess they figured that that's not going to happen on a WWE platform. So now they're starting to build towards Bound for Glory instead. So, but I just know that, yeah, it's been talked about for a little while. Just again, me being a fan of Busted Open and stuff like that. I feel like it's been discussed a couple of times. And so I'm glad they're actually putting pen to paper and making something happen. I mean, part of me wishes that they could be called the Dudley Boys on the TNA platform, but at the same time, Team 3D did earn their own legacy on the TNA stage. So they, you know, using that name isn't necessarily like a downgrade or anything. It's appropriate for the setting.
Yeah. And so, I mean, when I mean, like, yeah, TNA is being the second in line company for so many years until AEW came around. It's I mean, that's where a lot of the great stars that we have in WWE and the great stars from WWE who didn't have anything else to do in WWE went and, you know, continued and made more of their careers with TNA, as well as people coming up from TNA like AJ Styles finally getting his WWE contract in 2017 and entering at the Royal Rumble with Roman Reigns watching intently at that point. So it's been like TNA has been really good for WWE, and WWE has been really good for TNA, especially in the most recent years.
Yeah, also because WWE, as you know, cut out about 90% or so of their house shows. So whatever it is, like, it's not entirely gone, but their house show business is pretty much on the back burner for now. Pros and cons. Talent gets chances to rest more regularly. They can heal and recuperate because it's a very physical form of entertainment, but they also still need reps. So in lieu of the house shows, I think that's one of the main reasons the partnership came into existence. In lieu of the house shows, now some of the talent are getting to cross the line and, have some of the reps happen at TNA. So, you got your Dark State, what I like to call Timu Retribution, get to have a little bit of action on the TNA side of things, like they did at Slammiversary. The right team won, the system won, and that was the right decision, in my opinion. But at least the guys in the, I'm just going to call them Timu Retribution, but Dark State is, at least they're getting more reps so that they can continue their development. It is a developmental brand that the NXT is. So there you go.
And so I have to say, and so yeah, now I want to get into, like, I guess the more controversial topic over here with Tessa Blanchard. Now, in the match between her and Indy Hartwell, Indy Hartwell was actually let's see, yeah. So if I'm looking correctly, yeah, Indy Hartwell was the one who got the victory over Tessa Blanchard, and Victoria Crawford was by her side, by her side there for the match. It took 15 minutes and 30 seconds of a good, very, very good, well wrestled match by these two ladies here.
And Indy got her finisher in and pinned Tessa clean 1, 2, 3. I did not expect that.
Yes, exactly. What bugged me a little bit, what bugged me more though, I mean, like, the match was the match was just fine, and, like, and we saw this as well when we attended the TNA pay-per-view back in Brampton, where we met Joe Hendry and said hi to Matt Hardy over there as well. But when Tessa again. Again, since Tessa has come back to has come back to the forefront of the wrestling industry and into TNA, one of the chants that comes up every now and then is the "she's a racist" chant, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. I've heard multiple perspectives about this issue over here, where and they're all valid and everything. Now, I will say kudos to Tessa Blanchard for leaning into those chants. I don't think she has had much of a choice but to lean into those chants because of, and also, take advantage of the heel heat that she's getting because of this over here. And those chants and the accusations of racism come from multiple female wrestlers back in January of 2020 coming forward with bullying and racism allegations against Tessa, including an incident involving Blanchard spitting in the face of a Puerto Rican wrestler and calling her a racial slur. The woman in question, Black Rose, later stated that the incident did indeed take place, but Blanchard denies the allegations. And so there isn't as much I guess we'll never really know because we're just on the outside. I'm not in those locker rooms and I'm not in those things as well. But there's also on one end of the story. It's interesting that even if those allegations aren't true, a lot of people still think, and even in the locker rooms, that it is, and as a result. You have, and as a result, you have people who are unwilling to work with her. They're uncomfortable with having her in the locker room, which is not a great thing to have, especially when you're trying to put together a bang up show for the wrestling fans out there and grow your brand and grow your own careers as well as the company. At the same time, I think as well that whether or not you believe Tessa is a racist or not, and was guilty of the things that she's been accused of, I also think as fans, as much as it can contribute to just the heat that she's getting, I also don't think it's necessary to participate in those chants that she's a racist, which I didn't. I can tell you right now, deep in my heart of hearts, in TNA Wrestling's event over in Brampton, I did
Siege.
Under Siege, exactly.
Don't disrespect Steven Seagal.
Well, we are bound for glory in a couple of months, but I, in my heart of hearts, I could not, I would not ever, I do not, I could not bring myself to chant along with the crowd, "She's a racist." Even though Tessa herself, like, literally leaned into those chants. She leaned over the ropes and actually did the Hulk Hogan ear thing when people were chanting, "She's a racist." And so I can't do it. I just can't do it. That crosses a line for me personally.
And didn't she come to the ring? Like, you made this point with me. She came to the ring. Who accompanied her? Victoria Crawford, who is what?
Yes.
An African-American woman. So, I mean, I'm not saying that is the be-all, end-all of ending that side of things. I don't know the story too well. But, I mean, maybe not everyone knows all the things that went on with that. So, I don't know. I am a little indifferent, but at the same time, I think I'd rather they just enjoy the show, enjoy the ride that Tessa Blanchard's taking them on. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I think she is one of the better pro wrestlers in any women's division. She has the pedigree for it. Like, she's got her dad Tully and her stepdad Magnum TA were both professional wrestling. I'd say, big names in the industry.
Yeah.
So she's got the pedigree for it, and she's got the skills. I mean, she was even the TNA world champ when she beat Sami Callihan for it years ago.
Yes.
So, besides, like, not just the Knockouts Championship, not that that's an only kind of thing, but, she even got the TNA World Championship. So this is a seriously skilled woman who, of course, everybody makes mistakes, but, I don't think she's as bad as a lot of people make her out to be.
Mm-hmm. And nobody, and for the most part, nobody is as bad as anybody is being made out to be. Then again, nobody is as good as as some people are making them out to be as well, too.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, that is also true. Very fair.
It's and so it's like and so it's like, well, basically, yes, if fans want to do that, I can't control what the fans do. I'm not in the ring. I'm a fan myself. Whenever I go to these things, it doesn't matter if I'm doing media for any of these things, but I'm still going there as a fan of wrestling, and I just want to cover it. I just want to cover it media wise. But so as a result, I can't control that. The people in the ring, they can't even control some of these chants sometimes. Look at Tessa; she can't control those chants either, and all she can do really is all she can do is just lean into it and just and use it as anybody would in the wrestling business to garner more heat for herself, and it's only helping her. It's for those people who are chanting she's a racist in order to discredit her or anything. All you're doing is actually making her brand stronger.
That is very, very true. I don't know how long it's going to take Tessa to shake this, but to shake this reputation that's been following her the past couple of years. I hope it happens, though. I honestly think it's such a waste that she's not in WWE, to be honest with you, for me. Mm-hmm. Because, she was for a cup of coffee, as they say, because she was in the Mae Young Classic at some point.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So I know that she's got some sort of it factor, and I would love to see her get a really good opportunity at some point to just show the whole world what she can do.
Exactly, and it would be sad. It would be really sad, like whether or not these allegations are true of what had happened in those locker rooms, whether or not those are true. It's just that, again, it's one of those ideas where your reputation precedes you. And unfortunately, this is preceding Tessa Blanchard. And right now with Triple H, again, he's even said it himself. He wants to stay away from politics as much as possible when it comes to dealing with the WWE and the company that he works for and he runs. That unfortunately, because of that, Tessa won't be seeing a WWE ring anytime soon. Even though that TNA right now is WWE adjacent, in the closest adjacent that they've ever been.
Yeah. I just think, like, look, there's so many matches that Tessa would tear up in today's WWE. I mean, the first person that instantly comes to mind is she could kill it in a program with Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, for sure.
Two top-notch children of horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they both are so good.
Mm-hmm.
It writes itself.
She's not even 30 years old yet. She's going to be turning 30 a couple of days before my birthday. So
Tessa? Wow.
Yeah. She's still got a lot of years behind, like in front of her of wrestling relevance. And I do not like the idea that her potential either may be spoiled by something that, like, if she's guilty of it, then maybe the black mark on her name, no pun intended, but that mark on her name, unfortunately, may be her own undoing, obviously. But at the same time, if it is not, if she is innocent of the things that she's accused of, then there's a lot of people out there who are sabotaging somebody that doesn't deserve to be sabotaged. And does anybody like 99% of the people out there in this world don't deserve to be sabotaged, and that's in any sort of way.
That is very, very true, man. Just I think her redemption is kind of a slow burning thing, but I hope she gets it. I hope she gets to a point where the fans can kind of ride with her, you know. I think that's just, I think, top-notch talent waiting to be unleashed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on a bigger stage. But to her credit, while her being world champion again, or maybe go back to WWE, is kind of a slimmer and slimmer possibility, at least while she's spending time in TNA, she does the right thing by putting over somebody like an Indy Hartwell who needs some credibility, after being let go from WWE.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
clean put over.
Mm-hmm. And after that match as well, Tessa did attack Indy Hartwell as well as Gia Miller, and so as a result, Santino Marella, director of authority or director of operations of TNA, did suspend her indefinitely. So again, we won't be seeing Tessa for a while, possibly. But who knows where she could end up during her indefinite suspension from TNA.
She'll be back in a couple of weeks. Let's be real.
Yeah,
I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon. But yeah, no, I mean, let's hope that Tessa's not injured in terms of like why they would say out indefinitely. You know, I hope there's no injury involved there, because her match with Indy, like you said, went pretty well. Yeah,
it did. It really did. But so at least, that's a little bit of a therapy moment for me over here.
There you go.
But
here for you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad that the people listening to us on YouTube and also on Spotify everywhere and on Saga 960. Well, not this part's not on Saga 960, but then like everywhere else, you're hearing this and you're and I thank you for letting me have that little therapy session when it comes to wrestling fans. Get again. I love the business. I love wrestling fans. I love the wrestlers and everything. They're great. It's amazing. There's a lot of stuff that could bring it down, but other way, it's just an amazing form of entertainment. We do have our hiccups as well, and we're not a perfect. We're far from a perfect fandom. So yeah, those are the things that is on my mind. But thank you all for listening to us here on the bonus content on Ringside Heat, and of course you can follow us at Ringside_Heat. Follow Chico at Coco Collects. Follow me at Lextan Media. And make sure you're tuning in on Saga 960 Wednesdays at 2 p.m., Sundays at 3 p.m., as well as on Spotify anytime. And look into our archives of the 192 episodes that we have done for the radio as well. So it is going to be another 2 months before we get to our 200th episode. That's going to be an interesting thing. And who knows, we'll have what more great content we'll be giving you in the future. But stay tuned as well, too, for my interview with professional wrestler Kingsley. And that'll be a lot of fun, not just on the radio, but on YouTube as well. Thank you to all of you for listening. And we'll be back next week with more great wrestling talk. Ringside Heat. We remember the things that you probably forgot.